You've heard the name a million times, right? Wall Street. We see it in movies, we hear it on the news. It's become this symbol for power, for money, for the entire economy. But what is it, really? Let's get into it. So yeah, what is Wall Street? Is it just some street in New York City? Is it a private club for billionaires? Or is it the actual nerve center of the global financial system? Well, it's kind of all of the above, and we're going to peel back the layers together. I mean, what a phrase, right? Masters of the universe. It just perfectly captures the image we all have of Wall Street. This idea of a handful of financial titans in a boardroom somewhere, pulling the levers that make the world go round. Immense power, unbelievable wealth. And this is really the key to understanding it. Wall Street is two things at once. On one hand, yes, it's a real physical place. It's an 8-block stretch of road in Lower Manhattan. But it's also so much more than that. It's become shorthand, a symbol for the entire U.S. financial industry. It's the beating heart of capitalism. But to really get a handle on the idea of Wall Street, we've got to go way back. And its origin story is probably not what you're expecting. Believe it or not, it all started with an actual wall, a wooden one. The history of this one street is pretty wild. It literally began as a defensive wall built by Dutch settlers back in 1653. Then it took a really dark turn, becoming the site of the city's official slave market. It wasn't until the end of the 1700s that the first seeds of what we know today were planted, all because of a little handshake deal made in 1792. And that deal was the Buttonwood Agreement. See, there was a huge financial panic. Things were chaotic. So 24 brokers got together under a buttonwood tree, hence the name, and decided to make their own rules. The goal was pretty simple: bring some order to the chaos and create a more exclusive market just for them. And this right here boils it all down. They made two key rules for their new club. First, we all charge the same commission. No undercutting each other. Second, and this is the big one, we give preference to each other. In other words, we trade with each other first. And just like that, they created this powerful members-only system that would eventually become the New York Stock Exchange. So, how did this tiny, exclusive club of traders grow into a force so massive that it affects all of us, what we often call Main Street? We always hear about Wall Street versus Main Street, right? Like there are two opposing teams. Main Street, that's us, our small businesses, our jobs, our personal savings. Wall Street is the world of giant investment banks and massive corporations. But the thing is, they're not really separate worlds at all. They are deeply, deeply intertwined. Just think about it. If you have a 401k or any kind of retirement account, that money is invested in the market. Wall Street creates the tools, the mutual funds, the ETFs, but it's the capital from Main Street, our money, that actually fuels the whole system. Which means the ups and downs on Wall Street have a direct impact on our ability to retire, or to pay for college, or to reach whatever financial goals we have. But because they're so connected, when that Wall Street engine overheats and breaks down, the damage is catastrophic for everybody. This cycle of boom and bust is just part of the system, and there's no better or more painful example than the 2008 financial crisis. The 2008 crisis was a total chain reaction. It started with really low interest rates and loose lending standards that created this giant housing bubble. Banks started handing out risky, subprime mortgages to folks who couldn't really afford them. Then Wall Street packaged all these risky loans into incredibly complex investments and sold them off. When the housing bubble finally burst, those investments became completely toxic, and they took down financial titans like Lehman Brothers right along with them. And this led to a massive problem: the too big to fail dilemma. The government was terrified that if these huge banks went under, they'd take the entire global economy down with them. The solution? Massive government bailouts, using taxpayer money to rescue the very institutions that had caused the mess in the first place. And as you can imagine, that was and still is incredibly controversial. All that public anger led to new regulations and years of debate. But the crisis also acted like a meteor strike for the old guard. It completely reshaped the power structure of Wall Street, clearing the way for a new set of players to take the throne. See, before the crisis, Wall Street was ruled by these legendary independent investment banks. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns. The crash wiped them from existence. The Wall Street Journal called it the end of an era. And into that power vacuum rose the new giants, huge private equity firms, companies like Blackstone and KKR. They became the new titans, the new masters of the universe. But here's the crazy part. Even though the names on the buildings changed, the culture of Wall Street has stayed remarkably consistent. It's still this world that recruits almost exclusively from a tiny handful of elite schools, your Harvards, your Princetons, your Whartons. This talent pipeline is all about bringing in the quote-unquote best and brightest to maintain that aura of prestige and authority. So from a simple Dutch wall to a tragic slave market, to a private club under a buttonwood tree, all the way to a global financial engine that shapes all of our lives, Wall Street has never been a static thing. It's always evolving. And that leaves us with a huge question. What's next? What will Wall Street's next transformation look like? And how is it going to change our world?